And we are back. Welcome to my preview and predictions for the opening matches on Matchday 3 of the Club World Cup. If you want to see my predictions for the end of Matchday 2, and if you want to see my predictions for today's matches in the Under-21s quarter-finals, you can check both those videos out at the top of your screen right now, so you don't miss out on any of them before a ball is kicked later on today. As I said, these are going to be my preview and predictions for the opening matches of the final group stages. We have got all the matches from Group A, or all two of them, and of course the two matches from Group B as well. Plenty on the line for every single team involved today, which is really, really good. So before we get into it, as always, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video and sharing it with a friend if you enjoy all of my prediction series and want to get more people involved. If you don't want to miss any of the remaining predictions we're going to do for this series and any others, hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss out on any of the action. If you want to be even more awesome, if you want to support this channel going into the new season, you can become a member of this channel by clicking the join button at the bottom of your screen right now. But as for today, these are the four matches that are going to be taking place tomorrow to conclude Groups A and Group B in the Club World Cup. And you can see at the top of your screen, we had a very good day yesterday. All four predictions we got correct in the Club World Cup yesterday evening and last night. No correct scores, but we got all four results spot on. There were a couple of scares in there at one point, but we got all four of them correct, which is fantastic. And hopefully we can get another 4 out of 4 today. But without any further ado, like I say, these are the four matches that we're going to be talking about. And because FIFA are just like UEFA and they don't know how the alphabet works, we have Group B being concluded first and then Group A being concluded after. So that's the order we're going to do it in. We're going to start off with Group B, and this is the state of the group as things stand. Botafogo on 6, PSG and Atletico on 3, Seattle Sounders on 0, but it is still possible for Seattle to progress to the next round, provided they beat PSG by a significant enough margin. Botafogo, obviously in the best position, just a point for them will see them progress. For PSG, a victory for them guarantees their spot in the next round, because it's not possible for Botafogo and Atletico Madrid to have a superior goal difference over PSG. And for Atletico Madrid, they have to beat Botafogo by at least 2 goals to guarantee their spot in the next round. So there's plenty to play for both of all four of these teams, plenty to play for in both matches. And I am going to cover both of them at the same sort of time because it's just easier to do that when both matches are being played at the same time. But let's start off with a little bit of focus towards Atletico and Botafogo. Obviously, Atletico Madrid saw off Seattle Sounders after getting easily beaten by PSG on Matchday 1. For Botafogo, absolutely outstanding performance from them against Paris Saint-Germain on Matchday 2. They took the European champions to their limit and they said, absolutely not, you are not breaking us down. We're the South American champions. We believe we're just as big as the European champions, and they proved it. Everything PSG threw at them, they didn't even flinch. They were absolutely outstanding. And not only that, they created plenty of chances at the other end of the pitch as well. What I would say is there were some PSG players missing from that starting lineup. Obviously, we know Ousmane Dembele is injured, but that can happen at any point in time. There was no Nuno Mendes. There was no Marquinhos. There was no João Neves. There was no Fabian Ruiz. PSG did not play their full available first team for that match, but they paid the price for it. And I have no sympathy for them. And if Botafogo want to celebrate that as a major victory, they absolutely should. Because there are so many people regarding PSG as the best team in the world right now. And Botafogo deserve their flowers for what was an unbelievable performance for them. Does that mean they can get the result they need against Atletico Madrid? Absolutely it does. Again, they just need a point. Atletico Madrid have to beat them because they have to assume that PSG are going to beat Seattle Sounders. Because if we switch our focus to that game for a slight moment, Seattle have obviously lost their opening 2 games. They have to beat PSG or they're out. They can beat PSG and still go out. Whereas for Paris, they're going to be coming up against a Seattle side that is going to be attacking them, which actually I think favours PSG even more and will allow them to then be a little bit more aggressive going the other way. So I think we all sort of know where that game's more likely to go, but for Atletico Madrid, that means they're under serious pressure to get a result against Botafogo, which, as we saw in the PSG game, actually suits how Botafogo can play. If they sit in, they do the jobs they did on the other day, Atletico Madrid are going to be out of this competition and Botafogo are going to be progressing. So before we do the actual predictions, let's do a little bit of team news. No injuries or suspensions for any of these 4 sides coming into these 2 matches, which is great to see. Means we can go into things as they are. In terms of actually the starting lineups, I think Atletico will likely make changes. Obviously, Longlay's going to be back from suspension. Will he come into the starting lineup? Will Witsel keep his place after scoring off the bench the other day? Will we see another change to the attacking line? Will Griezmann come back in? Will someone like Colin Gallagher start in midfield? We don't really know. Simeone does like to mix it up a little bit. For Botafogo, expect the same lineup again. They have been solid. They have been pure in how they want to go about things. I don't expect them to make any changes. For Seattle, I think it's more likely we see a few more attacking players from the starting lineup, maybe like a Ryan Kent coming into the starting lineup. Like I say, look how far behind they are. They have to beat PSG by at least 3 goals. So they've got to go for it. Sitting back is pointless in this game. They've got to go for it. So I expect them to play an attacking lineup. For PSG, expect all those players we spoke about to come back into the side. Nuno Mendes, João Neves, Marquinhos, Fabian Ruiz. Expect them all coming back into the starting lineup. Maybe we see someone like a Kvaratskhelia or a Desiree Doué come out because they've played on Matchday 1 and Matchday 2. But PSG will want to progress. I think it's likely they end up playing their full available first team for this match. Ultimately, as I've said, this game favours PSG massively. Seattle have to go for it. PSG are so deadly on the counter-attack. They've got a wealth of talent in front of them as well. So I expect PSG to win this one fairly comfortably. I'm going to go for 4-1 to PSG. For Atletico and Botafogo, I don't know where this one's going to go. I think an early goal for Atletico Madrid could blow this game wide open. But the way I look at it, I just think it's so set up for Botafogo to just hold them out. Do I think a 0-0 is possible? Very, very likely. But it would surprise me. I can see both sides scoring, but I don't see it being a very high-scoring game. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think Botafogo will score. I think we saw in the PSG game and we saw in the Seattle game. When they have their chances, they will take them. And with Atletico obviously needing to win and needing to win by a significant margin to guarantee that spot in the next round, I think it will really suit how Botafogo want to play this game. I could see Atletico nicking this by 1 goal. I don't think they'll win it by enough to get through. I can see Atletico winning this 2-1 and Botafogo still going through on goal difference. But we'll see. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw and a PSG win. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments as we then move on to Group A, which is even more finely poised. Or is it? Because if you actually look at these fixtures, you've got Porto and Al Ahly playing each other both on 1 point. You've got Inter Miami and Palmeiras playing each other both on 4 points, which does leave room for the scummiest thing in all of professional football, which is 2 sides at the top of a group phase playing out a draw to guarantee that both teams get through. Because that's what will happen here. If Palmeiras and Inter Miami draw 0-0, both teams will progress on 5 points, and whatever happens in Porto and Al Ahly, they cannot get through. What's that I hear you cry? Corruption at a FIFA tournament? Never. What's that I hear you cry? Corruption at the FIFA Club World Cup to help Lionel Messi's Inter Miami qualify? Surely not. Right. What I will say is there is no way in hell a Brazilian team is going to help Lionel Messi qualify for the next round of this competition. There is no way a Brazilian team is going to help Luis Suarez qualify for the next round of this competition. So you can throw your corruption out the window. The problem is, I do think there is a very high chance this game could end in a draw. Let's not forget that these teams all played out 0-0 draws on match day 1. Again, I don't think we're going to see 0-0 draws here. I think we're going to see goals in both games. But just bear that in mind that even if this game does end in a draw between Miami and Palmeiras, don't scream corruption at it, because I do think it is possible that we could see something like that. As for the other game in the group, Porto and Al Ahly, obviously as we know, one of these sides, or both of these sides, have to win to guarantee themselves any chance of qualifying for the next round. The problem is, as you can see on your screen, Al Ahly, yet to score in this competition, to be honest, haven't looked too dangerous. They looked okay against Inter Miami. Obviously, they did miss that penalty, but without a sure, they just really didn't look like a serious threat against Palmeiras. They looked more threatening to their own goal, which is exactly what happened when their striker headed past his own goalkeeper to put Palmeiras ahead the other day. For Porto, I think it's just a case of really poor missed chances. They had an awful lot of chances against Inter Miami. They could have put that game to bed, but as the game went on and on and on, Miami grew and grew and grew, and obviously it was Lionel Messi with another unbelievable free kick to see Inter Miami into the position that they are in. For Porto, I look at this game, I look at the players they've got available to them. I think they should be beating Al Ahly. So that's where I'm kind of leaning on that one. In terms of the team news across all 4 teams coming into this, Attia is going to be suspended for Al Ali. He picked up a yellow card on both match days 1 and 2, and obviously they're still going to be without Ashur. Porto, I don't expect to make many changes. Yes, they did lose to Inter Miami, but there's not much rotation they have available to them here in terms of actually playing their best available lineup. I would expect Porto to play pretty much the same team coming into this one in a game that they would expect to win. For Inter Miami, they come into this with a few decisions to make. Obviously, don't fix what isn't broken after their win over Porto, but Jordi Alba is now available after his injury, and Redondo was rested in that second game, and I think is expected to come back into the starting lineup for this one. For Palmeiras, their decision is more tactical rather than player-based. They played a 3-4-3 against Porto, and that obviously ended in the draw. They then played a 4-3-3 against Al Ali, which resulted in a victory. So I think it's more likely we see the same sort of lineup we saw in that game from Palmeiras coming into this one. In terms of the matches themselves, I expect Porto to get the victory here, as I've already mentioned. Will Al Ali score? I think there's maybe half a chance they could nick something, but for me, this is a game Porto should be winning. So I'm going for a 2-0 victory to the Portuguese side. And then finally, into Miami and Palmeiras. I mean, Palmeiras haven't conceded yet. And that is key coming into this, because if they set out their defensive stall correctly, they know that a clean sheet puts them through to the next round. Again, a 0-0 draw puts both teams into the next round. But I do think we're going to see a game where both sides look for the win, because obviously winning the group is more important. Well, it's not more important than qualifying, but winning the group is very important for how you then progress in this competition. So from that side of things, Inter Miami need to win. And obviously with the likes of Messi and Suarez and the other players they've got in their team, they are winners. They're going to want to win this match. And I do think they've got enough quality in those attacking areas to hurt Palmeiras. So what I'm going to go for, which may surprise some people, is I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Inter Miami. I think Inter Miami nick this. I know there's going to be a lot of Brazilian fans in the comments not happy about that. But to be honest with you, I look at Palmeiras so far, and they've not been overly convincing in the 2 matches that I've seen from them. Let's not forget, like I say, the first goal against Al Ali was an own goal. The second one, okay, it was a little bit better, but they didn't really do much in the opening game either. So we shall see. I'm going to go for Inter Miami to win this. But what's most interesting about this prediction is that if this does end like this, with Porto winning 2-0 and Inter Miami winning 2-1, Porto and Palmeiras will be absolutely identical. 3 games played, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss, 3 goals scored, 2 goals conceded, even goal difference, even points. They will have to be decided by a coin toss who progresses to the next round. And you look at those 2 predictions, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that those 2 scorelines are what happens. But that's going to be it from me. That's how I think this is going to go. I'll clear that so you can see all 4 predictions at once. As always, let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Who is going to be making it to the knockout stages of the Club World Cup from Groups A and B? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching as always. I'll see you tomorrow.